Hello and welcome to this week's acting class. As we careen towards our final weeks of this term, I want to touch base on the idea of style. Style is a vital part of any artistic expression and any artistic venue that we are working in, but it can be a little difficult to define. One of the ways that we define style is it's a certain feel, it's a certain energy, it's a certain look. One of the best definitions I've ever heard of style was from a director by the name of Sir John Gielgud. Sir John Gielgud was an English actor and director, worked in the last century, and he said that when he is directing, it is a big part of his job to make sure that everyone is breathing the same air. I love that definition of style. Everyone involved needs to be breathing the same air. When we look at a great work of art, whether we are talking about an epic motion picture or a short little cartoon or a painting or a sculpture, if they are well done, it looks as though a single artist created the entire thing because it feels unified. These great epic films that we watch or feature-length animation, all you have to do is scroll through the credits to know that there are hundreds of people working on these films. But if they are well done, it feels like the same person is working on them. I want to leave you with two big points today around the idea of style. The first one is, all of the rules apply to any style of animation you are ever working in. They are applied vastly differently, but they are all applied. Whether you are creating animation for children of a very young age, or whether you are creating highly sophisticated video games, or whether you are creating magnificent, long arc stories, all of the rules apply. The second point I want to make is that within any work of art, the style must be consistent. Let's talk about the first one first. All of the rules apply. The number of styles we have within the animation community are as broad and vast as the number of artists that have worked in the field. Disney creates a very specific style. Warner Brothers and the people at Ghibli Studios all have very distinctive styles, and when we see them, we recognize them. They all use all of the techniques, from the simplest children's animation to the most complex, realistic piece of work that we create. All of them use motivation, they use status, they use character arcs, they use good gestures and facial expressions. All of the rules, everything that we have talked about, strong relationships, backstories, apply to all of them. They are applied differently, but they are all applied. If we want to take an analogy from the fine art world of painting, we can see that Rembrandt and Winslow Homer and Leonardo da Vinci and Norman Rockwell all use the same basic techniques. They use color and form and shape and perspective and texture and shadow. They all use all of these techniques. They apply them vastly differently. As we move into our final weeks together, we're going to start looking at some of the specifics around style, how the rules are applied, how the techniques are applied in different genres. So show up to class and we will go through some specific ones and see how they apply differently. It's also a great way for us to review all of the material in the term. So over the next few weeks, we will be looking specifically at how different styles apply these things. We will be looking at a number of different styles. The second thing I want to point out is that within any work of art, whether we are looking at a short film that lasts a minute or two, a feature that can last an hour and a half to 2 hours, or a television series that can last decades, styles must be consistent. You would not put a Winslow Homer background behind a Rembrandt body with a Van Gogh head on it, unless you were trying to create some odd, interesting comment on those artists. We want things to be consistent. Two of my favorite examples are pieces that one of them actually gets a fair bit of criticism, but I think it's great. I'm going to assume all of us have seen South Park. If you were to define South Park in a single word, think about that for a moment. The word might be crude. South Park is crude. If that's not the word you were thinking of, are you going to argue it? I think not. South Park is crude. But when I ask what elements of South Park are crude, you can apply that to anything. The character designs are crude. The storylines are crude. The character personalities are crude. The jokes are crude. The color scheme is crude. The layout is crude. Everything about that show is crude. If you don't like crude, go watch something else. If you like crude, this is your show. It is utterly consistent in all things. If you look at a film like Bambi, Bambi is lovely. It is absolutely, utterly lovely. All of it is lovely. The storyline is lovely and heart-touching. The character designs are lovely and heart-touching. The layouts are beautiful. The songs are lovely. There are certainly dramatic and powerful moments in that story. But the story is lovely. Everything about it is lovely. It is consistent stylistically from start to finish. If you don't like lovely, go watch South Park. So today's video is a little shorter because we will be delving into these over the next few weeks. Within any style, one, everyone needs to be breathing the same air. The layout artists, the voice actors, the animators, the character designers, the colorists, and the texturists. Everyone needs to be on the same page. And the second thing, all of the rules apply. This is why we deal with style at the end of the term. It's a great place for us to review and apply all of these things. Whether you are animating big, broad, ridiculous nonsense or unbelievably subtle, realistic work, all of the rules apply. Have an awesome week. Today's video is a little shorter than most, but we are going to delve into this over the next few weeks. Hope everyone is having a great week. Be well, be healthy in mind, body, and spirit, and I will see you in class.